Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. In Cuba, chanting freedom and calling for President Miguel Diaz-Canel to step down, thousands of Cubans joined street protests from Havana to Santiago on Sunday in the biggest anti-government demonstrations on the communist-run island in decades. The protests erupted amid Cuba's worst economic crisis since the fall of the Soviet Union, its old ally, and a record surge in coronavirus infections, with people voicing anger over shortages of basic goods, curbs on civil liberties, and the authorities' handling of the pandemic. Thousands took to the streets in various parts of Havana, where their shouts of, I quote, Diaz-Canel step down, end of quote, drowned out groups of government supporters waving the Cuban flag and chanting Fidel. Special forces jeeps with machine guns mounted on the back were seen throughout the capital. Diaz-Canel, who also heads the Communist Party, blamed the unrest on the United States, which in recent years tightened its decades-old trade embargo on the island. A combination of sanctions, inefficiencies, and the pandemic has shut down tourism and slowed other foreign revenue flows in a country dependent on them to import the bulk of its food, fuel, and inputs for agriculture and manufacturing. The economy contracted 10.9% last year and 2% through June of 2021. Health authorities reported a record 6,923 cases and 47 deaths on Sunday, twice as many as the previous week. U.S. President Joe Biden on Monday expressed support for the Cuban people amid rare protests, calling on Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel regime to hear their people and serve their needs. The head of Haiti's National Police announced on Sunday that officers arrested a Haitian man accused of flying into the country on a private jet and working with the masterminds and alleged assassins behind the killing of President Jovenel Moïse. Police Chief Leon Charles identified the suspect as Christian Emmanuel Sanan without giving any personal information about him, though it appears he has been living in Florida. The chief also gave no information on the purported masterminds. Charles said that officers found several items at his house, including a hat emblazoned with the logo of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, 20 boxes of bullets, gun parts, 4 automobile license plates from the Dominican Republic, 2 cars, and correspondence with unidentified people. Charles said a total of 26 Colombians are suspected in the killing of the president. 18 of them have been arrested, along with 3 Haitians. He said 5 of the suspects are still at large and at least 3 have been killed. In Trinidad and Tobago, the batch of drugs stolen from St. James Medical Health Facility has been valued at $2.5 million, and it includes one that is used to treat critically ill COVID-19 patients. The drugs were stolen from the health facility last week. On Saturday, Health Minister Terence Singh confirmed that 25 vials of one of the drugs, tocilizumab, is being used to treat one COVID-19 patient locally. Officers suspected that the thieves may have stolen the drugs to supply to a private institution. On Monday, the Northwest Regional Health Authority issued a media release saying drugs were missing from the complex. In Barbados, facing a significant spike in COVID-19 cases all last week, the Barbadian government on Sunday reintroduced a daily 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew with effect from Monday for 2 weeks, and again capped the number of people allowed at church services, parties, funerals, weddings, and those allowed to travel on public transportation. Minister of Health and Wellness Jeffrey Bostic confirmed Barbados' positivity rate for the viral illness had jumped by a full percentage point to 1.6%, and its percentage of infections per 100,000 people had doubled, up from 19 to 38. Saturday alone, the country recorded 40 new COVID-19 cases. That was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining.